That was hard. Phew, all that cutting there. Welcome, KD Custom Woodworking. I'm Kevin Dunphy. All right. Now, phew, I'm getting all sweaty here. And let's see if I can do this cutout here. Oh. Yeah, a little this, a little that. All right. I did it. I got the beam. I couldn't. Wow, amazing. All right, we're at 80 inches exactly. All right, why that number is so important, but all joking aside, we went all the way through. I'll show the cutout. I instructed Prince how to do it, and Prince did all the work. All right, I don't want to take credit. He's saying, because it is a team effort, this job. I'm exactly 80, and I'm supposed to be 6'8", but I do have the grandfather clause. This is a renovation, all this. So there are certain things you could say, well, the stairway was there, but you can say, well, you took it down, and you should have put it back to code. I'm about a quarter inch off, because I'll put a quarter inch here, but I'm not really worried about that. I think with the inspectors, they'll do it. Now, I have the wood so small here. I mean, look how much we've taken away. You know, we're at 9.5, and now we're left with 3. You know, would that crack? Because it's only people that are here. It could. I think it could, even though it's tripled underneath, like 3 under here. And so the beam is the solution. We go in here, we're notched here, and we slide in here, you know, and hammer. I'll PL, I got industrial fasteners. I'll show how it's done. And this will take the weight, but what I tried to do with all the beams up here in the second floor, if I could show you, they say, well, it's only a floor joist. What I did is I stiffened the building with these joists. I've stiffened it this way, and then we put cross piece. I stiffened it this way as much as we could to keep, because what happens is with a lot of the floor joists, and you heard about that building collapse, and you can look at the one in Kansas City, and what happens with the building, and I've talked about it so many times, and I've seen it happen firsthand. I was at one job, and we had a concrete mix. We were pouring a countertop, and the floor joists were only not even, you know, they weren't cut as nice as this. What I mean by that is we're using a saw. Sometimes when you're going with just a skill saw or whatever, you get little gaps. And they use hangers, especially with the big ones. Anyways, when the mixer only had 2 bags of cement, which 160 pounds or 80-pound bags, water. So let's say 220 pounds, which is probably the average North American male. You know, and you could picture somebody dancing. And what happened was when the mixer went, the floor went like this. You know, and you might say, well, nobody's going to be dancing up here. Wind and everything else and sound. You'd be surprised how windy it can get here, and the wind hitting the building and blowing on it. Would this be overkill? I don't really care. I'll put overkill on all this, because now when I put my floor here, I'm sitting on a 2x6, and everything else. So everything is connected to be solid. So I'm going to install this. Enough of my, but it is serious. And what happened, to get back to the Dominican Republic, I'm not speculating what happened, but on open spans, and you get that literally thousands of people in there, and they're dancing up and down, jumping. And if it's a beautiful day and something just collapses, that's resonating. That's just going inside a building like that. And you can picture people, you know, going up and down and things like that. How do I know this? my dad was a crane operator. I worked on steel when I was 16, 17. And that was back in the day. You actually climbed steel. Not now. They got like little booms. They got headphones. Thank God they do. Because, a lot of guys got burnt out, lifting themselves out. But on big open spans, they've had some buildings collapse because they mixed up the joists with the air conditioning unit. Like, they look the same, and they're different rating, and nobody catches it. And then sometimes then all of a sudden that building would collapse, literally. But the margins are so thin on these buildings. We're here, I've gone like insane, but they really should be doing double. And same thing with other people, like you're going big spans and things like that. Put 2 layers of plywood on that. Put the extra beam, glue, everything else, and I'm talking from an advantage of experience and just watching things go and going into old houses. And that's it. That's it for my spiel. I know you guys want to watch stuff. And Prince, did I do it under 5 minutes?
6.
What?
6.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, you're laughing because that was a lot of information. In here, come down here so you can see what we've done. And I'll fill the back part there because it was, there's no way you could do just a gap to go in. Maybe if we first did it, we could use half or keep the other one filled, and that'll be it. All right. And that's going to be beautifully locked in. And then we cut this back here. So when you come up, you don't feel like the ceiling's coming down on you. So that's it. Let's move on. Let's get this guy. Now right here, I'm gluing like I love my PL, and part of it is I know that beam or that ledge is not going to sit 100% on the wood. There'll be a little bit of gaps. So when the PL dries, just fills all the gaps so you have continuous support. And I maintain the rigidity of that beam right across. And not only that, if the beam, I don't know, throughout the years, 3 inches, I mean, if that ever cracked, you'd really cause a lot of problems with the house. If you ever had a, structural crack or something like go. So this really hedges your bets. It wasn't that big of a deal to put in. It's a little bit of planning and, it's a little longer and, Prince made a wooden block there. He's worried about my hearing. And, you gotta admire that. It cares. But now here I'm using industrial fasteners. I had double washers and then I just put a single one in there. They're 6 inches. They'll go right through to the end. Why didn't I use bolts? I didn't really need to. And putting this many with the glue and everything else, this is not going to come loose. I can guarantee you that. So that was it. It was a lot of thought because I didn't really, what am I going to do there? So it really, really worked out well. Now here, I am gluing the joists because now I got a little bump out, which is kind of cool. I did this by accident, and because we had to make the staircase, we were literally within half an inch or a quarter of an inch within code. It was really very challenging because it's an old house, and the attic's on an angle, and you lose a lot of space like that with the stairs. So this was like a little bonus part, and I glued it so that things aren't going to come loose throughout the years, and that's it. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. I put a little shim there, and if you can see here, this is the old beam, original beam of the house, and this is what we added. We made, basically a sandwich, clamped and glued them together. By doing that, a lot of times this wood is not plain so precise. It could be out a little, and especially on 10 inches, even if you're a 32nd out, you could be like this. You could be like an 1/8 or even a 1/4 inch sometimes down here. And that's where that meets. Could I have cut it with that slight angle? Oh man, I don't know. Like, you know, that's a tall order. I'd have to go a little longer, and because they're all slightly different. So, and this is the point I was trying to make. So, when you put your, you know, your brackets here, and you're gluing, and your hangers, you're going here, and you can hide those gaps. Nobody sees them, eh? You know, guys are in a rush. Even me, I feel like I'm being pressured right now. I want to close the house, you know, and I don't even want to take the time to set up the camera and the microphone. So it's not that they're doing bad, or is it wrong? You know, that's when it gets loose like that, doesn't matter how many nails you put in there. You could sit there and put 100, but because you put so many on the end of the wood, and especially, like, I'm not here to get political, but especially on U.S. wood, your wood is very soft. And at the end of the pine, it cracks a lot. That's why, you know, like Canadian wood with the spruce is just more forgiving, a little harder, and it doesn't crack at the end. And that's critical. And then that's why a lot of these fail. That's my thoughts. Like, I could be ordered by the inspector to start putting hangers here. Let's find out, eh? But hopefully I could explain to him, and, you know, just have a conversation. Say, okay, does it make sense what I'm saying? Does it? Or am I totally out to lunch and I'm just venting things? A lot of this stuff is common knowledge. And then when people start throwing graphs and weight and things like that, you're losing people, and you're trying to talk down. You're not talking sideways, okay? So what I do here is I go and I just put one of these in the back. Now, look at the angle I'm going. So I'm going, that screw's going to go right up here. And I gave it a little pull. I didn't want to distort it. I didn't want to try and pull that out, because this is, you know, don't forget, this is glued. And same thing here. All right. Look at that one pulled down. Woo. Man, I'm going to have to go up there, tighten it, and be a little more careful. I had a toad on top. Now when I want too much of an angle, I'm going to redo it. Okay, I got it here, and we're going to toe here. And what I'm going to do, I'm not going to show the video. I'm going to go on top, put a couple more screws so this doesn't move, and I'll come back down here and I'll torque these. God, I love these screws. All right, man. So, like I said, these were glued in, these little shims. And that's it. Let's move on. I got Prince making the plywood. What do you think? You think he's going to make a mistake on his cut? Is he going to get confused? Because I gave him a V there. There's a V right across there, about 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to dry fit the piece of plywood, and you see from one end to the other, he marked it 3/4 and 3/8. There's a 1/2 inch difference. That could be because of the cut. I'm not really even worried about it. Let's see how he made out. Look at that, it's perfect. Oh, wow. That's the thing with that track saw. If you're doing a house like this, and you got it all, like, the house is skewed with the street, the back, and you got to get really good with these cuts and, you know, getting everything fit in. So that track saw is like a godsend. Now, the other thing I'll touch on, I put screws here But a lot of times the inspectors like the word shear strength, or engineers. And that's basically when the building shifts a bit, it goes down, goes sideways like this, that the screws could snap very easily. You know, I've never seen it happen. I mean, it's a lot of pressure, but that's why they don't like it. That's why, you know, if you go to 3.5-inch screws, you get way thicker screws, and they're a lot better. Now, this is a debate that goes on, but I'm not really going to play around. I got attacked here, and so I just come along. And we got our 3-inch nails in here. And man, it's really nice, this nail. We're going a little below. And what happens when it goes a little bit low, like why I hated screws, or screws, pardon me, why nails, is they came out over time. You know, guys would hammer it in, and, you know, they'd knock it out a square, and, you know, you go install a cabinet, you'd be there all day fighting it. But with this, we got to set just below, so the wood's going to swell up a bit and close it so they don't come out. And that's really what's nice about these nails. You know, that's my thought. We'll tow it in here, eh? Why not? God, I love this gun, eh? Makes you feel like a hero. But that's the thing, when you get good tools, it gives you confidence. It makes you feel like, oh, I can do anything, you know, I can build this house. So remember that. Don't be stupid cheap. And don't forget, you notice now, compared to my other videos, on some of them, we got better sound, we're getting better video. I'm trying to spend a bit more time with it, and I'm hoping that powers that be promote our videos more. I believe we have a lot of content and a lot of things to show, and I mean, this is about the deepest reno you could possibly go. After this, it's like tear it down. But this is about it. So let's move on. We got a big day today. So on this, I got this all nailed down. So I forgot one important thing, eh? One big important thing. And I don't know, you know what it is? You get into the rhythm and you forget stupid stuff. And the stupid stuff is, I'm going to show you in about 2 seconds. Mark out your joists for your plywood. It takes a few extra minutes. I've seen a lot of experienced guys. Sometimes you get into bad habits, and I'm guilty of it. You know, I'm not a framing guy, you got to remember. But I'm doing it like I'm going to install cabinets. So there's my mark, right? So I'll go there after, watch. We'll glue this. And you buy the big tubes, it equals about the price of 1.5 of the small tubes. But man, it goes so much longer. The big thing is open it wider at the end. If you don't, it kind of leaks out. I'm going to go here. The only thing I don't have is a little brace here. Like I'm going to sneak it, like go back down. Let's see. See what I could have done, but I didn't want to do it. There were nails there. Would have been go halfway on that. I'm going to have to go. I totally forgot. I'll be honest with you. And I'm going to sneak, before I get too happy here, I'm going to sneak a couple of 2x4s. The only crap thing with the PL, sometimes you get messy here, and you get a piece, and then you get, oh man, you get on your hands. Hands are black. I don't like wearing gloves. If I can avoid it, I find I lose my dexterity, you know, but I should. I'm getting older, and we're in a cold building, but today's a beautiful day. I mean, the skies are so blue. its temperature is like going to be like +6, +8, but the warmth is coming off the ocean, and it's just gorgeous. I got this weather till Sunday, and today's Thursday, so I got 3 days of this. I'm off tomorrow. And that's it. Now I can't do that, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a little block here. They're only a block just to hold it. I don't really care. I'm okay with that span. That span I'm not worried about. This one I'm not. And guess where my tape is? So I got my 3/4, 3/8. Boom. That's it. Now I got my mark here, and I'm going to show you all the. I didn't quite get all the gap like with PL. It was pretty big, like a little bit. There. I mean, spend 5 extra minutes with this, because as soon as you put that on, you know, you have no clue. It's going to look cool though. Like, you're going to have this platform. Now I got to put railing here, or posts, and I got to protect all this. So I definitely 100% have created a lot more work. You know, 100% of I'm going to pop a couple. I got 3-inch nails in there. 3-inch nails would definitely hold it. But I'm going to go here on an angle. I want to give it a little shot that way, just ever so slightly. So I'm trying to pull it down in the middle. This one I'm just going to go kind of down. And then that's the art of this drill. These drills, I love them. You know, you don't have to go wailing away. Just, I try to tell anybody that works with me, be surgical. Don't be, you know, anybody. I can hire anybody just to wail away on these drills, but it's not how many screws you put in, it's where you put them. Now I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go get a clip, and I'm going to go X, because I don't have anything here, just to remind myself. Last one. I'm going to pull it up a bit, like here, about halfway. Let's see if I went too deep. Yeah, I'm going to go again. Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Just below the plywood, just the way I like it. Hold it straight. Don't twist. I could put it on repeat, but we had problems with the mechanism, so we're shy about that. And that one turned, that's me. And I'm not going to leave it. Wow, I'm tired of all the work I did, Prince? You know, I kind of was doing circles around you first day back in 3 weeks.
I was just holding the camera doing nothing.
Whew. And, you know, I did all this. You know,
in one day.
And then, yeah, and then, so. All right. It takes a crew, a couple of people that trust each other to put these buildings together. It's a lot of work. We've been at this old section in 6 months. You might say, well, that's a lot. not really. Prince was only really working part-time. I came in, I made tables. Remember those tables I made for the boat? And plus, I just disappeared for 3 weeks on another job to make money. Now, that's the thing when you hire guys like us, we're kind of dancing around a bit. It's hard to sometimes stay steady, but we're very happy with the progress. Because if I told you the money to restore this, you'd say, what? And for DIYers, you're going to make 30% mistakes. Just trust me. If you come into this on your own, you're going to make 30% mistakes. Ask Prince. Am I right, Prince?
100%.
And no, I mean, you're not being...
I agree.
It's just the nature of the beast. You know, I'm at about 3 to 5%. And I don't mean that to be a smart ass. It's only because I'll go home and I'll go check. I'll go look, or I'll read, or I'll try not to do anything to forget, you know. It was like the radon. That was a mistake on my part. I had to cut all that styrofoam out. I didn't know that they had that on there. They gave me a list of what I'm supposed to do, and I followed it to the T, the inspectors. So remember that, all right? And that's why it takes a skill. That's why it takes great, you know, with the drill. That's the measuring, everything else, the visible inch. So this is the other thing that I did. So we got this, and I'm taking a little weight. I'm putting it on our. I don't call them joists down below. I call them beams, and then that's what we created. So I'm taking a little bit of the weight, the rigidity. I mean, you know, all this down here, and over here we got to fix this. So we cut this at an angle. Now, how do you finish it? And then that's the hard part. Like, oh, what do? I don't know. So you just basically just cut a piece like this. And that's it. And then you'll be able to screw it in. I'm going to let Prince clean up all the tools. I gotta go somewhere, Prince, okay?
Sure.
You know, the sad thing is we have to empty out all the tools here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a declaration on like our tools. So, you know, I looked down like that because I did a video on it. I had tools stolen. My wife didn't want that video published, and you know, and I gotta respect what she says. You know, and I understand. It was a scar because you work so hard for this, eh? And I think Prince knows like how hard it was to get all these tools and everything else, you know. And the so I'm not going to get on that. We are having fun. We're getting near the end. I was more paranoid about that wall, but then Prince brought up a good point. Like it does tip, and that's because of the other house they dug out, and they took out the soil. They actually disturbed it, but with us, with the concrete, everything else, and all here, all these joists here, you might say, well, you guys were nuts to do this, whatever. What we've done is we've stopped the house. Does that make sense? Like now, even if anything like the old section was a little out or pulled, there's no way. Like the power to pull this would be, I mean, even if you had a straight on hurricane, you know, everything we PL, like we're nuts about this, you know, like you can see all the PL leaking, glued PL, you know, all our posts are glued, stairs are glued, everything. I don't know if it's a cabinet maker in me, but the reason is I've been to so many houses and I've seen nails come out. Stuff get loose. I've repaired stuff. I have that video on that stair that they slapped together, and I charged that person $5,000 extra to repair it. He nearly freaked. He was like, "What?" And I said, "Well, here's a video," but he couldn't believe that they put it there and how cheap it was and how dangerous the staircase was. And he paid it, grudgingly, but did I know it was going to take that long? No. So when we come into your house, sometimes things are booby-trapped. Have respect for the guys. We want to do a good job. I know that they got a lot of catch videos like, oh, take a video up here. Look at this gap. You know, oh, look at this. Look what the electricians did. You know, you know. We're going to make mistakes. Remember I said the 30%? and then you get the 3-5. Impossible not to make mistakes. All right. Are there any mistakes here? Like, oh my God, Prince just fixed one here that he did. I didn't think it was that easy to fix. We both didn't. But the thing was, he didn't understand how this ties in. Look, I go, okay, 16. Then when he saw me put everything together, it was just like clockwork, boom, boom, boom. But to set it up and to get everything, it takes a long time. So please subscribe. Thank you. I'm going to try doing once a week. You know, I really enjoy YouTube. I think it's an amazing place to learn. I try to learn on different stuff. I'm trying to learn, be better Tyler. So I'm going around looking at different guys that are good with it, because I'm not that great on the prep, you know, and I'm learning all the products. So, and thank you. See you, Prince.